The first question that I had that we received from the community was basically, is there more of a security risk with up version 2? Since there's been a lot of hacks lately. And yeah, so I think that this is a good point. As has been pointed out, anytime you have a managed fund system, as we're going to talk about here in a bit, that does make some potential risk. So that risk is, of course, present here as well. It's a great point. How we mitigate that risk is going to be by utilizing the DAO further. So the DAO is going to have to actually step up and take on a more direct approach. It's going to have to more directly help assist in those funds being staked and unstaked. So there is going to be a much more active role here of the DAO besides just referendums. That's a key part of this, and that's how we intend to mitigate that. So I'm super excited to seeing that come out, and it's something that we've been operating here now since last year, and I'm very excited to kind of see how that continues to evolve. So the next one, how will the up reward structure work for chains where use stake currently is not live? Yeah, so that's actually very cool. At this time, I think a good vanilla way of looking at this is use stake could plug in perfectly with up. That's great. You can stake to it, take the rewards, put it into up. But that's just one concept of how this staking could work. There are other ways staking could work. We could be staking to liquidity pools. We could be staking these to trusted liquidity pools such as Utrade. These could be staked to perhaps someday trusted lending platforms such as Aave, should they meet certain qualifications that our DAO will obviously instill. So yeah, there's tons of options that are out there, and I think each blockchain is going to have a unique way to approach that. And just like we're doing these multi-chain referendums now, that's going to be extremely crucial in how we determine what actions are taken going forward. So for those of you that are looking to participate, that participation is going to weigh in a lot more as we transition from simple referendums into actual approving of transactions publicly. So very excited to see how that kind of evolves here in the future and how individual chains determine what they consider high, low risk, and et cetera, and how they decide to participate in terms of staking. Getting into kind of the next piece, then the next question here, up migration, splintering of supply, people forgetting to do it or missing out on the news and things like that. There's not going to be that kind of risk here. It's going to be a one-to-one swap, up v1 to up v2. It could happen at any time. There's not going to be an expiry date. This is going to be something where you can just interact directly with the contract when you want to. You're going to be incentivized to, obviously, because of how future things will plug into it. But there is no direct loss here. You can still always redeem your token for the up v2 whenever you decide to do so. So going on, how does up v2 differ from other DeFi protocols? What sets it apart? Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a bigger, longer question. I think I would rather dedicate some time specifically to this. There's a lot that up v2 does, not just in terms of DeFi, but in terms of the entire ecosystem that we're offering, in terms of how Unifi token works, some future developments that we have coming up that I'm very excited about. So yeah, there is probably more to say there, but I'd say too much for this conversation. Can we explain how the immediate 5% loss of up is going to be worth it? This is talking about the direct mint. So basically, if you choose to directly mint up, there's a 5% cost in doing so. The 5% cost goes into redeem value. We're not taking a share or nothing like that. It just goes into the value of up. So who's going to do that? That's a good question. This feature came out of some maybe larger organizations and entities that we've participated with, some of which have expressed interest in doing this. So though this may not make sense for an individual that's kind of looking for maybe a short-term quick gain of less than 5%, for those that are looking to be long-term partners or potentially see some advantages that can be done by acquiring a large amount of up suddenly, that's really what that feature is there for. So it's for, it may not be for everyone, and I would say it's definitely more sophisticated participant within the ecosystem. It's really a tool for that. I could see fancy and elaborate arbitrage opportunities, special cross-chain interactions, like all kinds of stuff could come of this. That's like just that's like for like the high-end trading people. Um, so going on from there, uh, um, is the backed value going to be visible for the community to see? Of course, this is like we're going to wear this red on our sleeve. This is a big part of why we're doing this. So that's going to be extremely visible through Unifi report and elsewhere. So that'll be great. How will liquidity be provided to the up pools? Actually, this is super exciting. I can't talk about this right now because we actually have a proprietary solution. It's part of why we felt comfortable announcing this now, is we do have a really cool solution here for it, and it's probably one of the more unique features of what we have here. And I think I'm going to wait until we get closer to launch to really talk about that specifically. And yeah, that kind of takes us through most of the questions here. I skipped two or three or I skipped a few of these here, guys, just so you know, because they do touch on things that we may not be ready to talk about just yet, or maybe future states of the company and things like that.